The nominees are The Imposter, McCullin, Wild Bill, The Muppets, and I Am Nazreen.
Congratulations. I mean, what a night. It is fantastic. But this story is just incredible. It's unwritable. You know, it's sort of those things you go, this can't be real. The story you tell about the 23-year-old French conman, Frédéric Bourdin, who passes himself off as a missing teenager from Texas. It's extraordinary. How did you come across the story yourselves?
Well, Bart found the story in a magazine, in an old Spanish magazine. And then we kind of chased it down, and it was a story of this con man's life. And I think we quite quickly zeroed in on this particular part of his life. And he was kind of notorious in France, but no one had knew about him in the States really, or in any of the rest of the world. And we just found it was one of those stories, as you say, that if you made it up, no one would believe it.
No one would believe it. It's such an incredible drama. Did you went to interview him before you'd even got funding for the film, is that right? I mean, what did you make of him, and how willing was he to come on board?
He's, as you see, he's not a shy individual. He courts attention. That's part of his thing. I think we were struck by, we couldn't believe that no one had made it as either a fiction film or as a doc, and because he's as unpredictable as he is, we felt we should bring him over, talk to him about the idea of making a film. And when he seemed agreeable, we were like, let's hire a studio and sit down with him for 2 days. And we shot the interview and cut a sort of 4-minute sort of promo from that, and that's what we used to get funding.
And he had a reputation as obviously a con man and a liar and all those things. So once we kind of had our hands on him, or were in contact with him, it felt like, well, we should do the interview now. So we didn't have time to raise money or to do any of it. So we kind of did that all on our own bat and took that risk ourselves, because we were just worried.
Well, you don't know what form he might take on, or how you could be the con.
And then we found out that he was talking to other companies, and someone had come and offered him a load of money. And
there was a whole nother story. There's a whole nother kind of con man story to that.
There, which you can put in a Spanish magazine, which the next person will find and make a documentary of. I mean, the other thing with this is, I mean, when people must come up to you and ask you, what do you think happened to Nicholas? And I mean, it must be strange to start on a project and not really know the ending. Did you know how it was your documentary was going to come?
That's kind of, I think that was key to how we ended up telling the story, because there were times when we felt like we were on our own detective, in our own detective story, and you would go from one long interview one day and you come away thinking, I get it, I kind of understand how this all happened, and then the next day do an interview with someone else from a different side of the story and come away equally convinced of the completely opposite thing. And so my idea with the film was to try and send you as an audience on a similarly twisting and turning journey.
But you went on yourselves,
and
it worked. It's wonderful. I sat next to my husband going, I cannot, but where is this going to go? It's incredible. You're standing up there accepting an award in front of your filmmaking heroes out there. Quite an experience tonight, do you think?
Yeah, I was shaking like a leaf when I got on the stage. I was like, really, it's quite intense.
I don't know. I really didn't think we were going to win, so.
It may not be your only BAFTA tonight. There may be another one.
Who knows?
You don't know. And what are you going to do next? What's your next project? What can you tell us about it?
We're obviously having loads of kind of exciting conversations with people about full fiction movies, and I think the thing about our background's a documentary, and every time we start going down the route of a fully fictionalized story, we come back and something or someone turns up with a story which, like you said, if it wasn't true, you'd never believe it, and so we end up kind of going.
And there are various projects, but there's another thing that if it wasn't true, you couldn't believe it and you couldn't make it up, which is kind of. Which may well be. Touch wood.
Don't
tell
us any more.
I think we're interested in this idea that there is a way of telling true stories, which maybe isn't based on a true story, and it's not a documentary. It's somewhere interesting in the middle.
And
I
I definitely think that documentary, or at least true stories, can be just as compelling, just as dramatic, and even more telling than anything a writer can do, because the writers are taking their inspiration from them anyway.
No, there must be so many writers going, why didn't I think of that story? It's incredible. It's an incredible documentary.
Thank you,
so well deserved. Hopefully we'll get to see you again tonight.